Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Paul.
So, what are we talking about this morning? What do you think is of power and usefulness to show the power of Sapio 365?
Well, last time, if I remember correctly, we kind of began to talking about jobs.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, okay. So jobs is a big part of SAP 365. It's something that we enrich regularly, and you can do a lot of things with jobs. It's really it's like SAP 365 on steroids.
I mean, we've looked at views a lot. How does a job compare to a view?
A very good question. Knowing that we created the job before we created the views, so historically in the story of SAP 65, we had jobs
Uh-huh.
before we had views, and so I know that in the beginning we were using jobs to do what views can do, because
Okay.
the views is really you're looking at some content and you set it the way you want to see it. So you organize
Mhm.
it, you set some categorization, you set some sorting, some filtering, you choose the column you want to see. So all that, views is perfect for that, because it's really, okay, I want to see a set, I want to see a something,
Mhm.
I want to see that in a certain way. And jobs are more, are kind of, technically behind, I don't know if we have to talk about that, but technically behind the view is a special job.
Mhm.
let's let's move forward on
Well,
that.
just show me. Yeah,
uh,
let me see what it looks like.
so let me share my screen first. That's for sure. Up. So yeah, so views are in fact
Okay.
special
Yeah.
job. But okay, let's forget what I said. That so it's just it's information to know what it is. So,
Okay.
but the idea is that so views is really focusing on organizing what you're looking at the screen and organizing the way you want and to be able to save that. So, we mentioned that the ability to create your own views and everything. And jobs, in fact, because jobs, in fact, is what in behind what we call automation, because this is automation in a way. So it's not power automate, but it's kind of the same logic, meaning that you can, in fact, any action you make, you can make,
Mhm.
you can do is better. You do in Subject 65. Uh, can be done by a job, so can be automated by a job. So a job will give you the ability to set open this, select that, do this action, so whatever action you may have here, do a selection, open the sub selection, do that and do that. So it's really any action you have inside of SAP 65 that you do manually can be done by a job, knowing
So
that.
even the ribbon picks can be included. So stuff I pick from up there, the sorting and all of that
Exactly,
can be
yeah.
included.
Anything
Okay.
is available on jobs, whatever it is about the grid formatting here, or some action directly on the current module, or going and navigating on some module. Knowing that in jobs you can even do some embed inside of jobs, some direct PowerShell calls. So let's say
Okay.
there is an action you see, okay, it's missing from here, then you can use the job and put some PowerShell inside of the job to run some specific PowerShell.
Uh,
The interesting part with that is that it will give you the ability to, and we have a few jobs created by that, for example, like this one, for example, you see move selected. So if I show on more info to make it bigger, changing the organizational unit of a user or for on-prem. Uh, this use PowerShell, and we use PowerShell behind the scene to do that. And it uses the selection of the grid. So you're still in Subject 65. You have the session of Subject 65. You
mhm.
have the selection and all the selection and the information available directly from the grid. And we use that and we feed that to a small PowerShell script to do a specific action.
Okay.
So
I
just to
see
give you
there's
an
a
idea.
bunch of, it looks like there's a bunch of jobs already pre-made on the left.
Yep. So we try to provide as much as we can. So every time, so there is initially that was stuff, so jobs we thought about, say, oh, this could be nice, this could be nice, this could be nice. But then after that, little by little, customer brought us some requests. Say, well, this is nice, but could I have a job to do that automatically? Could I do that to make it faster? So
Mhm.
this is where we regularly create new jobs. And by the way, we have a suggest a new job button here. That's perfect. Say, okay, yeah, I want a new job to do that. Can I have a job to do that? Do you have a job to do that? So don't hesitate to tell us. We are really open to create new job on the fly. If we can see that the job can be used, can be used by anybody and can be
Mm-hmm.
useful for everybody. So we're going to develop the jobs, that's for sure. So it's an ongoing process. It's something that we regularly add new jobs, like we regularly add new views. With the version 3 that's coming, we are going through a big, we say refactoring of all that. So reorganizing the job and the views. As I said, we have jobs that was doing some views work,
Mm-hmm.
if I can say that. So we're going to replace job by some views where it makes sense. So this is something that we are currently working on.
So these jobs I see on the left are related to this, I'll call it module that we're in. We're looking at
Mm-hmm.
users.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So okay, good. Is there a good example of like one that you, I wouldn't say like, but that you find pretty powerful of these jobs?
I would say the biggest one, the one on the code side of it, was the one that has the most code because it does the most thing, is this
Uh-huh.
one, the onboarding. So the
Okay.
idea behind the onboarding is to automate all the steps of what you do when you onboard someone. When rather all these steps, knowing that all these steps you could do that manually in SAP 365, but then you will have
Okay.
to create the user, assign the manager, assign the license, assign the group, check what other stuff have. So let's say if you want to take the same information from another user, you will have to go fetch that first to be able to. So you see, all these steps can be done manually, but we all, I would say, bundle that in one job, and so then you have one action. So let's have a look on this. So I'm going to show you an example. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to group by department. Why? Because I want to select a specific department, user in a specific department, which is these two guys. So why two guys? Because I want to use these guys as template. I'm
Okay.
going to onboard. So the idea is simple, I have two new members of this department, and they should have the same thing, so the same setting as these two users.
Okay.
So I'm selecting these two users, say, okay, these are going to be my starting point. So I want to reuse the setting on these users to apply them to the new users. I'm going to click on onboarding. So the onboarding job is going to first be sure that everything is up to date, and then is going to provide you this big dialogue where it's like I call that, it's like a Chinese restaurant menu. You have all
Yes.
the options. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is all the options. So everything you would like to do. So you have the ability. So either to say, okay, I want to create manually. So this means that if you go with that option, a dialog will show, and for every user, so let's say if I said 5, for the 5 user, he will stop and ask me to enter the first name, last name, so all this basic information about the user.
Okay.
Usually, you have an Excel file. So if I show you my Excel file, where is here? Okay, so here, what I did, I created an Excel file with the basic information. So the three core, I would say, basic information about the users.
Mm-hmm.
So first name, last name, display name, username, and a title. And after that, so here, what I did is, so I selected this file. So I selected the file to be my
Okay.
information that we need to create. And then I can choose what I want to do. So by default, it will preset the attribute, but I can enforce certain attribute of my users if I want, or I can say I don't want to use some certain attribute. So it's a choice. So here I'm going to set that as it is. And this is where it gets really interesting because, so, okay, you have this same as. So assign same licenses as selected user. Copy group membership of selected user. Copy group ownership of selected user. So you see the idea is I got these two users, and the users, so the two selected users here, so River and Rose, and I
Uh-huh.
have these two new users, which are Alfred and Albert. And the idea is to say, okay, I want to have the same license to those. So this new guy should have the same common license as this guy. This new guy should have the same group membership. They should have the group ownership. They should have the same role. Let's say if they have a specific role, they should have some delegation, the same kind of mailbox delegation of the selected user. And here, if you are not sure, here you say limit to groups like central or mailbox permission common. So we can say, well, if they don't exactly have the same settings, and only select what is the same for everybody. So all that, you could do that manually.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to go through, analyze, get the information, make a list, and then after create a user and be sure that you apply the good thing. Here you won't have to think about it, just launching the job.
Yeah, very, very powerful.
You can provide access to the mailbox, the full access rights. You can enforce the legacy. So this has been asked by a customer. You have the legacy MFA and you have the new MFA approach. Legacy MFA sometimes is still required to enforce and force push the MFA. So here you have the ability to say, okay, yeah, let's do that. You can assign a manager. Here, I don't have any manager selected by default because it seems that River and Rose doesn't have any manager.
They don't have one. Okay.
Yeah, but I will have one, the same. It will be shown here. And here I can say, okay, Ada is going to be the manager of these two new users. And here I'm selecting a view to do an export. So what is the purpose of that? It's really simple. You're creating new users. It's going to generate some password. You need to have the password somewhere to be able to provide the password to the user. It's the same system when you create a user on the portal. I think you have to set an email where you're going to send the password of the users, and you send that to somewhere, and then after, because you cannot say this, you cannot send that to the new user because he cannot access his account yet. So you have to put that somewhere. So here what we choose is say, we give you the ability to select a specific view. So if you created a view, so in my case, I have a view that are extremely basic. So I only have first name, last name, and the password. And so you create the view. You say where you want to see the the export of this view. So and then after, so you will have a file with all the password. We have a customer. What they do is that this file is created on OneDrive, and then the OneDrive catch that in some Power App. You get the Excel in Power App to process that to send some email to specific people. So it's an Excel file. So after that, if you put that in a OneDrive, you can after process that. We have a blog post about that, about all this story about how to automatically create and send, because they use Teams to do events. So people registered and they create an account and send to the people who registered by email the password and the username they just created for the event. So all that is done automatically. Okay. And here you have some option about, so, say, okay, I'm always doing the same thing. So I just want to, what I just selected, keep that for the next time so I don't have to reselect again. And also, because the system is going to check, so he's going to alert, you can say, well, I asked to assign groups, but you didn't find any groups, please tell me. So I know if I want to continue, I want to stop. So here you're going to define that. And here you have the ability to say, okay, and I want to see, because what's going to happen, imagine, we're talking about role, we're talking about groups, license, all that are going to be submodules that are going to be open. So you can say, and I want to keep all these submodules open because I want to be able to go there and check my stuff. And another interesting one is you can add a note. So the commenting system, so we can add a note inside of the grid. So then we can keep that, and so we have a place. So we keep that. Inside of the grid. So next time, anyone who opens that SAP 365 will see a note say, "Oh, this has been created." So it could be a ticket number, it could be a date or whatever. Okay.
Why would you in real life need to pick more than one user as your template?
Shows how you get the mix of it.
Okay.
The common.
Well, just show the common. Okay. But in real life, you're better off to have a user that represents what you want.
So interesting of taking multiple user is then you put yourself in a situation where using the button common, you only take what is common to all the members. So if a user has a specific group because it's part of a specific project, he won't be part of that.
Okay.
now I'm going to get the file, and this is where this is where we use exactly the same function as we have here. In fact, it's not a specific function we created for the job. The job is automating what you have in SAP 365, and here it is using the create user function. If I could have click on that and do the same, but then I would have to set the groups, the license, and everything manually rather than having everything done in one flow altogether. So here I got my selected users, and from here I'm going to define the field. So this is automatically is trying to map that automatically by itself, and is going to use a title. So the if you have a title that definitely is similar to what you are expecting as a title of the column here, it will match it automatically and say, oh, this is that, this is that, and this is that. So, and but it's exactly the same as the function you have here. So the one for the create user. In here, we have option about the password. Anyway, so everything is set. I'm going to do OK, and now the process is going to continue. So you see, it creates the users. And now he's exporting the user with the password. We ask for it. He's saving the new users. And now that he's there, he's going to, now he has users. He can go on the next step, which is applying license. So this is what he's currently doing. Now he's applying the license he found that was common for everybody. And now he's applying groups. So he's going through the groups and doing the group stuff to apply the user to the groups. And so we ask to enforce the legacy. So this is what he's currently doing. Okay, this is done. Now he's going to go to the next step, which is going to refresh the data to be sure that everything is up to set. I think we had, and he gives you the final situation. Okay. So he gives you time. He tells you, okay, I created a file here. This is what I found. This is what I got. So by default, this kind of job is always create some kind of report. So you have an Excel file created, and in fact, it will give you in this, you see in the different tabs, each part he used to be able to work. So if you ask, okay, why you find this license and not this one? From here, you will see what he found so far, and what he got. And if I go back on my place here. Now I have a new file, the one that I created has to be created. And if I open this file here,
and there's the passwords. Yeah.
There is a password. So this was a previous demo I did. So this is why it's appeared twice, because it's appending. So you see, it has been set to append. So you could have something that appends, the password, and the view I choose is really simple.
I assume we have, like, I'm going to say popular jobs.
So the same here. We have what we call, I call that the contextual jobs, because they work from a context. Something to see. I don't know if you noticed, on the job, there is a word here, select or all.
I see. Okay.
So it's just to distinguish the jobs that are working. So if I click on that, it will work on everything.
Okay.
If I click on this one with a select, it will work on what I selected.
I see. So yeah, I get the difference. One is like a mass job, and the other is I need to pick my choices. Okay,
exactly.
That's very important.
So it's like, it's why the onboarding job is a selection one, because you have to work on a selection. Okay. Oh, by the way, my new user are here.
So great.
Yes, there you
there they are. It worked.
Okay, so we saw a job. So here we saw all the job available in users, but in fact they are available in any kind of modules. So if I go back here and I say, okay, I'm on to look at the group and the teams here, then here I will see that the same. I have jobs available in the same the same way. So I will have a list of jobs available.
But I noticed they're different. So these are more contextually relating to teams.
Every module will have its own jobs. That's the beauty of it. Nice. Every module. I have a really good example of something else. So let's say if I go to look at this person here, Patty Fernandez. I'm pretty sure Patty has some mails. So if I go on here, and I'm going to load, so I'm loading a sub module of mails, okay?
I see.
She doesn't have any mail, but I
Now
have
the
some jobs
jobs.
to
Okay.
manage the mails. So here I have some jobs that give me the ability, for example, to trace a mail and to find the mail in all the other mailboxes that have been sent and received. I will have some jobs for the license, some on the OneDrive. So we try to provide jobs that are specific to the context.
I see.
And the same way here, if I go back to my groups, I will see that I have some jobs that give me the ability to do some work. So can be some action, change group mail domain, or it can be some comparison. So the comparison one it's a funny one. If I go here, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to say, okay, I want to compare this guy with this guy. Could be more than, by the way. Let make this more interesting. I
Okay.
want to compare 4 jobs. Doing that
All right.
manually, it's pain. Okay, you agree? So now I'm going to say, okay, I want to compare these 4 teams. Sorry, 4 teams. So I'm
Okay.
going to say digital initiative publication is kind of the reference. I want to check everybody else with that. So I want to. It's a double negative.
Uh-huh. Yes.
So
Do not
no, I
check.
don't want
Yeah.
to. So yes, I want to check extra new. I agree. Sometimes, yeah. And so here you go through loads of team members and it's going to show me a final result, which is bang, here we have. So this is my reference. So if we have this really interesting, this is a master reference. This is my group, okay? So when I said, and here, for each one I selected, okay, it's going to tell me, okay, what's missing, what is too much. So the green one, extraneous, is there are too much. So this means that Zuri here is part of this group, but is not part of the master reference. And this
Okay.
guy here are not part of design, but they are part of digital. So it's a quick way to quickly check a situation if you want to check multiple. And it can be a mix. Huh? It doesn't have to be teams with teams. It can be teams with a distribution list with whatever you want.
Okay. It sounds
Okay.
like that whenever I'm in a view or a subsection or a subview, it would be good to always check out the job center first before creating my own work to see if we've already offered that, we've already thought of it.
That's true. That is true. And don't forget there is a search here. So if you type, compare, it will help you narrow. So if you're looking for something specific, okay, it's domain related, it's email related. So at least it will help you find and pinpoint what you're looking for.
Well, thank you for this, Eric. I appreciate it. Have
Yep.
a great rest of the week.